Good morning.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, y'all. This is the WOW Podcast, WOWW, Wendy's on Wellness Wednesday. I'm Dr. Wendy Sue. I am an integrative medicine practitioner and author, founder and CEO of Freedom Holistic Wellness, wife, mom, Gigi, lover of Jesus, lover of all things natural. And this is my amazing bestie, Wendy Flournoy.
Hey guys, Wendy Flournoy, certified hypnotherapist, herbalist, forager, educator, student, wife, mom, Gigi, lover of all things non-toxic and God-given.
Yes, ma'am. So it's a winter wonderland.
Oh man. Well, I am very grateful that we didn't get ice and we didn't lose power.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan of the cold or the packed ice, but it is what it is.
Yes. We got about a foot up here, but with the ice, it packed it down to a good 9-10 inches.
Yeah.
And with how cold it's been, it ain't going anywhere. So,
No.
but Bill
We'll
only
see what happens this weekend.
Yes. My goodness. This is when I don't enjoy the snow. Like I want it just to dump a whole lot and
be beautiful to look at and then be gone.
Yes. Bring on the spring. I'm ready. But anyway, I am grateful for all that God gives us, and we need this to get rid of our
our summer bugs.
Our summer bugs. Yeah.
That's
We've
right.
not had much luck with that recently. That is for sure. So yeah, but anyway, so what have you been up to this week, girl?
I'm just going to ask for prayers for speedy healing for my 3-year-old Grand Prince JJ, who was being a normal 3-year-old boy, jumping on a sofa and flipped over the stair rail and took a little fall to the basement and broke his femur.
Ooh.
Yeah, poor little thing. But he's doing great. He didn't have to have surgery. He is now home and hopefully recovering and healing quickly. So I'm asking for prayers for that because he's a tough little guy and he's doing great.
Oh, praise God.
Great. Pray for his mama and his daddy because I have been through this because my oldest son broke his femur when he was 9 and it was horrible. Yes. It was horrible on him. It was horrible on me. It was horrible on anyone trying to help take care of him.
Yeah.
That is a major thing.
Yes.
And with him not being potty trained and things like that, it just makes it more of a challenge for up and down steps and in and out of the bed and things like that. The easiest things become major things.
Yes, for sure. We will definitely keep JJ in our prayers.
But I'm grateful and thankful that it wasn't worse because it certainly could have been. So
yeah. Absolutely. I mean, falling that far, it could have been much more tragic.
Yes.
Much more tragic. So
I'm thankful and grateful that he is on the mend and he's going to be just fine. And 3-year-olds heal amazingly fast.
They're very resilient. They are very resilient. That is for sure. Well,
what you've been, that was the major drama in my life this past week. So.
Well, we enjoyed our little downtime from the snow, but I wrapped up the 12 principles for a healthy lifestyle seminar series. That was I'm so glad that went as well as it did. And then I have started Sugar Busters with my community, and that is going well. Let
me ask you, because I'm in the community, but like I told you, I'm way behind on catching up with things. Are all of those seminars in the community to be looked at and watched at any time, right?
Yes, and I love that. That's why I love this platform that we went with. There's an area called the classroom, and every time I build a series, a course, basically is what it's called. It goes in there and all the information is there. So if somebody comes in 6 months from now, they can go back and do the 12 principles for a healthy lifestyle.
Right. And start from the beginning without having to go the whole community through.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah,
I think things are very organized and easy
it
to
is.
find in there.
Yes, yes. The natural GLP-1 hormone boosting protocol is in there as its own separate course. The immersion devotional series with the power to change, that is, man, you want to
Yeah.
talk about something that is waking people up spiritually and helping
Yes.
them make that connection of body, mind, and spirit, and have the Christ-centered focus of healing. That has been awesome. So I have a separate area for that. So yeah, it is. It's
This
very
is my second time going through that because I went through it with you one time before. It is a very powerful book, and I'm seeing and recognizing things that I never even saw before.
Yeah.
Going through it the second time.
It is. It's so powerful. I mean, God designed us perfectly. And if we take him out of the equation in our healing, we're missing a whole lot of what allows us to properly heal. And so
absolutely.
And I know that there's a lot of people who believe in healing body, mind, and spirit. But if you're a Christian, I'm telling you, do not get sucked into all the woo-woo craziness out there. Recognize that your healing comes from Christ and from your faith in him. And so that is what this guides you through. And it's man, it's so powerful. Every time I guide people through it, I get so just filled with joy because I see so many people's light bulbs go off and they're like, oh my goodness, I never made this connection. And it is, it's incredible.
And that's what I was trying to portray last week too, when I was talking about my hypnotherapy. Because it's the same kind of connection, and I don't always use the right words, and I don't always, but it's the same kind of guided principles, all from God.
Yes. Yes. Well, and I'll tell you, I've gotten some amazing feedback on our last 2 weeks.
Okay.
On so many people. We're so glad that we did a get to know you couple of weeks.
Nice.
And they loved last week's session, our seminar series. Our seminars. I've been doing all these seminars, our podcast last week. They absolutely loved it. So, I mean, you resonated well with people in your explanation. So
I always just pray every time before we do this. I just kind of pray that, because we don't script anything.
No, we don't.
We always just pray that God gives us the words and what to talk about and how to get it across.
Exactly. Well, and the thing is that, just back on the hypnotherapy, it has been misused in history. There are, but so has medical, healing. So has, even
the herb thing with the whole witch side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, you have to use your discernment. If you know that the person that is guiding you through whatever this is coming from a pure heart and coming from a place that is Christ-centered and Christ-driven, or Holy Spirit-driven, you're in a lot better. That's why it does matter. That's why it matters who I allow to put my hands on me. I was sharing with some Christian women in our area that my one thing I have not found yet is a Christian chiropractor, because I will not allow just anybody to put their hands on me who is doing any kind of healing work. And I just won't. And luckily they had several names for me and I was like, yay, I knew they had to exist.
They're out there. Sometimes it just takes a little digging to find it, but it's out there.
Yes. So anyway,
it matters. They're the place they're coming from matters, especially with healing touch.
And not only that, for them to be able to connect with you on your own understanding of healing.
Yes.
If you are even your medical doctor, if your medical doctor is not, and there's some great ones out there that are not Christian. I've worked with many, but from any healing perspective, if you do not recognize the power that Christ has in your healing, and you're talking to a doctor, or even I can also talk about like how much food has an impact or anything. I mean, Bill and I fired one of his rheumatologists when he sat across the desk from us and said, he can eat whatever he wants. I'm just going to give him these pills. And we were like, oh no.
Yep. I heard that from an oncologist of Rick's too.
Yes. If they are,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And a lot of doctors say that. And if they are that close-minded and believe that their way is the only way and that there is nobody else, it's almost like, this is a stretch, but it's not wrong. Some of them put themselves in the position of, I'm this God figure and I've got all the answers and I'm just going to give you a pill and nothing you do is going to make a difference. That is also a dangerous place to be. So I take that very seriously. So when I know I've got people in my corner who are Christians and who are helping me.
It also closes out any other options.
Yes.
I don't want any doctor of any kind only ever saying this is the only way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So true. So true. And you know, big bonus. I've had friends who, when they've gone in for surgery, their surgeons have prayed over them and stuff like that. Man, I want to know that if I've got to go under the knife, that my surgeon's a believer. I sure do. That he's praying about this and praying over me. I love that. So, but well, today we are talking about garlic, which we've talked about before, but my goodness, it's so worth repeating. And then we're going to dive in deep about some of the nuances between conventional medicine and functional medicine. And we're going to cover that today as well, especially related to a topic that has become near and dear to my heart without my desire for it to be. I've had to learn a whole lot about this. So anyway.
This is how we learn, right? From our own personal experiences. And I hate that you're in pain and you're going through this, but what an amazing place to be to watch the progression of the healing.
Yeah. And I've been, you know, yes, I hate pain. I have been, every time I'm in prayer, I have thanked God for it. Because you have to have that perspective anytime you're going through trials and struggles, that he's using it to shape you for something that he has planned for you. And I have no doubt that
good.
Yeah. I have no doubt that's what this is all about. And so I've been, you know, full of gratitude for it.
That's right.
Yes, I've also begged him to take it from me, but I've been full of gratitude because there's a purpose for it, and I have no doubt. So let's talk about garlic, girl.
All right. Well, everybody knows garlic is very strong, very pungent, right? But it has been used forever for healing too. Mm-hmm. Okay. And always talk to your medical professional, because I'm not a doctor. We're on YouTube, and this is for entertainment purposes only. There's our
box.
That's right. All right. So everybody typically has used garlic in their kitchen. Mm-hmm. It's one of the most powerful plants that God gave us for strength. Okay. And it is strong. And to me, it's more of a protection and preventative than it is like a comfort herb. Mm-hmm. Like I was telling Wendy before we started, every time I don't get enough sleep, I wake up this time of year junked up, coughing, junk, every time I don't get enough sleep. So the first thing I went to this morning was my garlic honey. And I'm like, you know, I will have to fill that back up today, because I will be eating the stuffing out of that just to get rid of this stuff, because I will load it up, and you can't overdose on it.
Right.
I will put out a caution that if you're on any kind of blood thinners, you want to be very cautious in doing high dose garlic. Right. I also want to remind people that in order to get the maximum effect of the allicin, you want to cut your garlic and let it sit for 10 minutes before doing anything with it, because that's going to make the amount of the allicin in it higher and medicinal strength. Now, if you're overcooking garlic into something, that's just for flavor.
Yeah.
That's not medicinal purposes.
Exactly.
Now, if you want medicinal purposes in your food from the allicin, then you want to cut it up and let it sit, and then throw it in your meal at the last second. That way, when you're eating it, you're getting the potency of the high allicin for the medicinal benefits. Garlic supports immune defense because it's antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial. It supports heart health because of it improves circulation because it's warming, and the pungency of it. It helps regulate blood pressure and cholesterol. It encourages detoxification through the liver and supports your gut balance, because in the gut, it's going to get rid of things that aren't good for you, and it's going to promote things that are. So it's really good for gut health. Now, for thousands of years, this has been used as a preservative. Okay, even before anything else. It's readily available in most places, even in the most detrimental winters, because it stores for a long time. It lasts well. I don't know about you, but I find that I never grow enough garlic.
Yes. Well, sometimes we overdo it. Shocker. I know, because we tend to go crazy, but it's very easy to grow.
Yes, it is.
It's not one of those things that, like sometimes I'll plant extras of things because I anticipate that it won't come up. Very rarely does it not come up. I mean, like it all comes up. So
yeah, you get it from the hardscape, the hardneck garlic. You get the garlic scapes, and you can do so much with it before the garlic is actually ready.
Yes.
A lot of it stores well. You can dehydrate it. You can dry it on its own. You can freeze dry it. I typically freeze dry mine and grind it, and it always ends up really white. When you buy it in the store, it's kind of like tinted yellow.
Yeah.
So I seem to always have it on hand, but I'm going to show you something. This is all the garlic that's in my house right now.
Oh my goodness.
Right? I was like, what? How did that happen? Because this time of year, I use it a lot. So it's like, today I'm going to be on the hunt for some organic garlic so I can fill my honey jar back up.
Yes. And it's not created equal, y'all. It's interesting that when Wendy is harvesting hers, that she's raising organic, that she gets organic garlic, and then she is freeze drying it, that it's white. The reason why a lot of the garlic in the stores are white is because they've been bleached.
Yes.
A lot of our garlic, unless it specifies that it's local, a lot of it comes from Asia.
Yes.
And they because it's coming from overseas, it's supposed to be preventative to make sure it doesn't bring over any kind of little nematodes or anything like that in the shipping. So they bleach it before they ship it. So, you definitely want to know where your garlic is coming from, or if you want to grow it yourself, don't just grab garlic from the grocery store and do that. So
no, you can grab organic garlic from the grocery store and do it. I've had some luck with that, but it's better to get the garlic seed. To me, I've had better luck with the garlic seed. And it is easy to grow. You just kind of, I always get mine in like by Halloween, around Halloween time, and you just kind of set it and forget it and let it go.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've always joked, and I'm sure I've said it on our podcast when we've talked about it before. That's mine and Bill's retirement plan. We're going to become garlic farmers because you can put it in right there at Halloween. Go to Florida. You don't even have to think about it till April when the scapes are coming.
That's right.
Perfect snowbird plan.
And as much as the garlic bulbs went up last year, man, the garlic farmers are doing pretty well.
They sure did. You and I were on a hunt for some that we didn't have to take out a mortgage on.
I was like blown away. I'm like, what is going on with the garlic? Holy smokes.
I got some from a local farm here that I'm hoping does okay. And praise God, one of our friends from church has some that he continuously harvests and replants, and he gave
Right.
me a few
Nice.
bulbs also. So
Very nice.
I'm happy about that.
I got a lot of mine from M.I. Gardner.
Oh yeah.
I like his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, try it out. I mean, if you can do organic, if you from the store and break it up, leave as much of the peeling on as you can, plant it with the point straight up,
Yep.
and see what happens.
Yeah.
Just like ginger and turmeric, you can grow them too from store bought, as long as it's organic.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, and just think about garlic as being like an ally for the immune system and like a circulatory tonic kind.
Yeah.
It's garlic supports the body when it feels like it's under attack, whether that's from seasonal illness, chronic inflammation, or even sluggish circulation. Like when you got cold hands and cold feet all the time, try upping your garlic intake and notice what happens.
Yeah.
Because I believe it'll make a difference. You'll notice a difference. One of my favorite things about garlic is that it works on multiple systems at once. It's not just for one thing. It supports immune defense. It helps keep the blood moving through the body. It encourages gentle detoxification of the liver. And I think that's why it's been used for so long by so many different cultures. Because it's different traditions, but same respect for the plant.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, God-given.
It works.
Just don't forget, if you want to use it medicinally, to crush it or chop it and let it sit for about 10 minutes, because then that allicin forms and you get it to the most potent strength medicinally.
Very good.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I like this too. Garlic reminds us that care doesn't always come in sweet forms. Sometimes it comes in strength, warmth, and protection, exactly when we need it.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So true. That is a good reminder that that plant gives us, because you do think oftentimes of, comfort as sweet,
Yes.
And that is anything but. But I'm a garlic girl, man. The more the better. Throw it all in there.
I love garlic. I love the smell of garlic. I love the taste of garlic. Every time Rick does the garlic honey, he's like, ugh, and I'm like, that's good.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
The one thing I do like about garlic too is it doesn't overstimulate your system. Like some things can when you're kind of using them medicinally.
Yeah.
It actually helps the body respond more intelligently. It's like God designed everything perfectly. So your body will react exactly how it needs to. And it's safe to use long term. I just wouldn't use it I would stop high dose garlic before any surgeries, because it does have that blood thinning capability in high doses.
Yeah.
Okay. It's warm, it's drying, especially helpful for recurrent colds this time of year, sinus congestion, cold hands and feet. It gets things moving, helps with a sluggish digestion. Of course, the strongest medicinal benefit is going to be that chopped up set raw garlic.
Yeah.
Okay. Lightly cooked is still going to be supportive, a little gentler on the digestion system, but you're still going to get some of the medicinal benefits from cooked. Now, if it's long cooked, it's mostly nutritional and flavor. It's going to be less medicinal. I think I said that before, but it's useful for, when you're on antibiotics and you have a sickness, your gut health gets kind of all out of whack and destroyed. So garlic is really good for helping bring that into balance, rebuilding strength after long periods of stress. After taking a round of antibiotics, you might want to boost your garlic intake just to get things straightened back out. If you have sensitive stomach, you might not want to do high dose garlic.
Sure.
because some people don't like it. Some people can't tolerate high dose. Anybody on blood thinners or anything like that, you need to consult with your doctor first before you go doing high dose garlic. Garlic is one of those herbs that, because it's so powerful and because it's so pungent, doesn't mean that more is better.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What we were talking about discernment earlier. Even good medicine needs discernment.
Yes, absolutely. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about here in just a second too
That's right.
with my topic.
So I just have one line to wrap it up, because this is how I feel about garlic and God-given things. Garlic reminds us that protection is part of healing.
Yes.
And that some of God's strongest gifts are the ones that we reach for every day.
That's so true.
Yes, it is. Whether it's prayer, your Bible, or garlic.
That's a sentence I never thought I would say all together.
Only today, because I just woke up with all this junk because I didn't sleep good last night.
So you reached right for it, along with the Bible.
That's right.
So fun.
That's right.
All right, girl. Great. I love that. And everybody really has been loving the herb of the week, because it gives them something new to focus on and to see if it's something that they should be adding into their.
And currently what I'm trying to do is go over things that most people have in their kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm doing. Now, the longer that we go, the more deeper we'll get into other things that people may not know about or never heard of or things like that. But right now it's like, I want people to be able to go to their kitchen and say, oh, the Wendy's talked about this. Make this into a tea, or you know what? Let me chop my garlic early and let it sit for 10 minutes before I use it.
Absolutely. All kinds of good information. All kinds of good.
So I am excited about watching your progression of healing with what you're dealing with, and these talk more about these functional labs, because I know I need to do it, and I haven't jumped off the fence to do it yet, but I know I need to. So why don't you go ahead with all of your things that you have going on?
Absolutely. Well, anybody that's followed us for a long time has heard me talk about these functional labs before, and yet again they strike again, and to help me get a handle on what's going on with my body. I cannot stress enough what a powerful tool this is, and I'm going to explain why. First of all, I really want you to hear my heart. I did bedside nursing in conventional medicine for 17 years. 14 of it was in the ER and trauma. I am a big believer in an integrative approach. Nobody does emergency and trauma better than the United States of America. We are the best at it. I will
There's
never.
a time and place for every type of medicine.
Yes. And it is absolutely needed. We are the best of the best when it comes to that. What we really have trouble with is the way we handle chronic conditions.
Yes.
And the way that, unfortunately, the majority of our physicians have been taught is very biased education, funded by the pharmaceutical companies, believe it or not, funded by the food companies, funded by Coca-Cola, funded by a lot of these organizations that you'd be like, why in the world would they be funding medical schools? Because there is an agenda. And so while I know many, countless doctors, because I've worked with so many great ones in my career, who went into the medical field with this, idea of wanting to help people, you need to understand that this is not their fault. So anytime that I say anything that might come across as negative about conventional medicine, it's not all conventional medicine, and it's not the doctor's fault. It is what they have been taught. Okay. They are taught.
They don't know any different.
No, they are taught a materialistic form of medicine. They are taught pills and procedures. They are taught to treat the symptom. They are not taught the level of root cause medicine that you get when you learn functional medicine and integrative approach and holistic medicine. And so I that's why I'm so grateful I had that 17 years, because even doctors who, go straight into the holistic approach and never had conventional medicine, they miss out on that connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very blessed to have had both.
Yes.
I'm so glad that I understand conventional medicine. And then when I apply the functional or the holistic viewpoint to it, I can see it through both lenses.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes such a difference.
I think because you're seeing the whole picture instead of each side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so today I want to talk about something that never thought I would become an expert in, but I had to be. And I've mentioned on several of our recent podcasts about this pain that I've been having, about this issue that I've been having. And I thought for sure we had nailed it down to a C5 nerve root problem. And my labs told a totally different story. These functional labs are so empowering, y'all. It gives you such a better picture of what's going on. So let me talk to you about this. I'd heard about, I'd learned about, I had understood a little about, but never really was presented with something so powerful that I ever had to do tons of research on this. And it's called adhesive capsulitis. It's often called frozen shoulder or frozen hip. It does happen in hips as well. I've been hearing about it more and more about hips related to hormones lately. But it's commonly been most classified in the shoulder. So basically, this episode isn't going to be all about, this specific thing, but I want to share with you what has happened, what it is, and then understand why the labs have made such a difference. So my body has been communicating that there's an imbalance. That's what pain is supposed to be. Okay. Pain is supposed to be a messenger, not something that we just have to fix. Does that make sense? Yes. We do need to fix it. We do want to fix it, but we should honor it as, okay, this isn't just something that I need to throw medication at or automatically get surgical intervention. This is something that is my body's trying to tell me something.
Yes.
So it's really important to look at that communication. Pain is often shows up after a system has been struggling quietly for a while. And it's finally our body's going, okay, sister, you're not getting my messages in other forms. So bam, this is
a lot of times it can start as a really mild irritation and we blow it off. We don't even pay attention to that. Yeah. It has to turn into this major thing before we even say, hey, there's a problem.
Exactly. And also, and as I'm going to share, why functional labs and functional medicine tell a very different story from conventional medicine. If you've ever been told that, your labs are normal, but you don't feel normal, this episode is for you. This is for the person who is sick and tired of feeling sick and tired and yet keep being told everything's fine.
Oh, your blood work looks great.
Yeah.
And you still won't feel right.
Yeah. Especially when you are, doing all the right lifestyle things. I mean, I do I couldn't eat healthier. You know what I mean? I couldn't, there's some things I'm adding because I realize medicinally I need them in my food, but overall I couldn't eat healthier. I have a very healthy lifestyle. So the fact that, this is something that I have had to recognize, anyway, it's been quite an experience. So here's what happened. This didn't come from trauma, no fall, no accident, no lifting injury, nothing. I literally woke up with this pain one day. I did for a brief moment think, oh, maybe I strained it a little bit because it showed up about 2 or 3 days after my grandbabies left. And I had 11 people in my household. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I was, I twisted funny with my cast iron pan or, because they're heavy or maybe, me carrying around 2 grams was, aggravated something.
Right.
So I thought, well, maybe there's a little reason for thinking that I strained something, but that should have been over in a day or two. Yeah. It also should have been something that, doing some of my topical magnesium or something would have been adequate and I could have moved on with my life, but it didn't. It persisted. Women who are between the ages of 40 and 60, especially are very susceptible to this because it is, it's a combination of our hormones being all over the place that then affect other areas of our body. Our fat balances, our omega-6s versus 3s, our nutrients, our metabolic health. So there's a shifting going on in a lot of our bodies at this age. So my pain did escalate quickly. Stiffness set in and my range of motion totally changed. Right now, what you're seeing is miraculous, okay? Because I haven't even been able to do this. I literally have to help myself get my arm up and then I can do my exercises and all this stuff. But it's what's called frozen. It's funny because the actual term of frozen shoulder, they have a period of freezing, which is as it's getting worse and worse, a period of frozen when you can't move it at all and it's excruciating, and then a thawing period. And I'm now starting to experience the thawing period. This shoulder was also experiencing it and I'm good, but this one is still slowly coming around. So I went to I'm with Christian Health Ministries for my insurance. It's not really insurance, but it's a group pay type program. And they have, as one of the benefits, free medical screenings, that you can do virtually. So reached out to this one doctor, very, very nice lady. She did the one thing I requested, which was, can I please get 1 round of steroids? Y'all, this is the first time I've taken a prescription medicine in 6 years. So that tells you how bad it was. And I knew at the time I was thinking it was the C5 nerve root. Right. So I was like, let me just get that quieted so that I can allow my body to heal. So I did my 5 days. And it improved from the immediate flare. It did not fix it. And I knew then it couldn't be my C5. I knew it couldn't be because that would have fixed it and it didn't fix it. It only quieted it a little bit. So I met back with her because I promised her I would at the end of the week, talked to her on Saturday, and she immediately went to surgical intervention. You need to go to an orthopedic surgeon for MRI. You need probably some injectable steroids. You need all this stuff. And she kept going injury. And I told her I appreciated, her insight and everything. But then I got off that call and I said, this is not an injury.
Not.
Yeah. It does not make sense. I understand the level of pain that I'm in. If I didn't have the knowledge of the human body the way that I do, I would have been right there with her and been like, yep, sign me up, do whatever you can do to get rid of this pain. I'll do whatever I got to do.
How many of us agree to that because they know what they're talking about, right?
Of course.
They're the experts.
And she admitted to me because she knew what I did for a living. And she just said, I just don't know the holistic side like you do. So I'm telling you that this is what, I knew to recommend.
What she recommends, what she knows.
Total give her grace for that. It's like I said at the beginning of this, they tell you what they know. Yeah, that's okay. Right. Yeah. That's what she has learned. So I have, no ill feelings towards her, but it really made me start to think, and I'm like, okay, the way this pain has escalated, the way that all of this has happened, my body's trying to tell me something. Well, praise God, I had the forethought to make sure that I had my blood drawn the morning before I started the steroids.
Right.
I knew it was time. I hadn't had it drawn since last May. And I wanted to make sure I got a clear picture before steroids, because steroids will jack your blood work all up. And I said, I'm not doing it, after steroids. So I'm so glad I did that. I went that Monday morning, started steroids literally as soon as I pulled out of the parking lot because I was in so much pain. And it gave me a very clear picture about what was going on. So I never got any questions. Again, I give her grace about nutrition status, about blood work, about any kind of markers. She did ask for my ESR sed rate, which in functional world, we look at CRP because it's a lot better picture of inflammation. And my inflammatory markers were up, but that was expected because I was in pain. It was not the cause of this. It was showing up because of this.
Right.
But as far as there was a total disconnect, no thoughts about hormonal signaling, metabolic stress, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So that sent me deeper and made me want to look into this adhesive capsulitis more, because I know that it is common in women this age, and it just made me think, I wonder if this could be it. Well, it 100% was. So let me just tell you, because I pulled some notes and I don't want to miss anything. So
how did you know that was it? Because of your functional labs?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I have had a big shift in my hormone labs, which is expected. I'm perimenopause, getting close to the end here, getting ready to shift over to menopause. I've had a big fluctuation in my hormones. Nothing that is unexpected for this time of my life, but I have had a big shift in the last year and a half. And what it has done has created a couple of imbalances that I was unaware of. So adhesive capsulitis, just to give you the official term, it's an inflammatory fibrotic condition of the glenohumeral joint capsule. Say that 5 times.
That's a mouthful.
So, in simple terms, it's inflammation that thickens connective tissue. Lubrication decreases, movement becomes painful, and I can tell you it is. Guarding turns into stiffness, so then that ends up causing stiffness in the muscles around it, and stiffness turns into fibrosis. So where you physically can't move. Like when I tell you I can't, well, this is getting better and better.
Right.
So it often progresses. Like I said, the freezing level is pain and stiffness. Frozen is less pain, severe limitation, but it's less pain when it's sitting still. You go to move it and it's going to light you up. And then thawing is the recovery period. So this can take months or years when the drivers are not addressed. That's what blew my mind when I was looking into this. And I was like, oh no, sister, I can't have this.
Right.
So here's the key. Fibrosis in your body anywhere does not happen randomly. It happens when repair signaling is impaired. So again, it is disproportionately affecting women who are perimenopause and menopause, people with insulin resistance and blood sugar instability. This was not my problem, praise God. I have worked very hard at my metabolic health, and that, even with the blood work, showed beautiful results.
Nice.
Those with thyroid autoimmunity, which we know that was something that my functional labs unlocked. That I have had an autoimmune attack on my thyroid. We talked about that a year and a half ago when I started on with these lab panels. Individuals with chronic inflammation, which is, maybe I have some of that just from my arthritis, but with the way I eat, I typically don't have that as an issue. And people with under prolonged physiologic or emotional stress. Physiologic can be related to nutrient depletion. It can be related to fat imbalances in your body. And then emotional stress, praise God, I'm not there anymore. I'm a very emotionally stable year or so. And that has not been an issue. But the physiologic stress, the labs showed me that I had stuff going on that I didn't even realize. So this is where labs matter. The difference between conventional medicine labs and functional medicine labs, because adhesive capsulitis is a perfect example of where this distinction makes a huge difference. So just to give you an understanding, conventional medicine labs are designed to diagnose disease, rule out emergencies, and determine when intervention is necessary. The reason why I get such a better picture with functional medicine labs is because with conventional medicine labs, you almost always, other than a standard 17, 19 labs, other than that, you are not allowed to have drawn, because that is the way it is designed, labs just to check and see where you are, unless you are having specific you have to have specific symptoms, and oftentimes those symptoms come when it's too late. Prime example of this, I asked for 12 years for them to draw my thyroid labs because I could tell just with my knowledge, understanding my body, listening to signals in my body that I had something going on with my thyroid. 12 years, they drew the standard thyroid panel and always said, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And it wasn't until I got my functional labs drawn that it showed that I had a severely elevated thyroid peroxidase antibody attacking my thyroid, which is what happens when somebody ends up with Hashimoto's. I've recognized the symptoms for 12 years and my standard labs still show normal. How many people end up with Hashimoto's that could have known 10, 12, 15 years earlier and prevented it?
Well, I think Hashimoto's has become very common instead of rare these days too.
It is. It is. So anyway, the whole reason for conventional labs is to look and see, is there something broken enough to treat? So it's more reactive. Okay. Normal ranges also, this was something I didn't realize until not too long ago. Normal ranges are often very different from what we look at in functional labs because they're based on population averages and statistical data. I don't know about you. I don't want to be the average of people who've been eating the standard American diet with my labs. I don't want to be the average of the unhealthy American that is standard in this country. That is what the normal ranges on conventional labs are showing in most cases. That blew my mind when I learned that.
I didn't know that.
So it's not based on optimal physiology. You can be normal and still inflamed, still nutrient deficient, still have poorly repairing tissue, and on a slow path toward dysfunction. So this is where functional medicine labs are different. So functional labs ask a completely different question. Is the body functioning optimally? That is what it is showing. So they look for early imbalance, trends over time, repair capacity, stress load, inflammatory burden. They're looking at the whole big picture to prevent you from getting to that point where you're broken, you know? So functional ranges are narrower because they're based on what supports resilience, longevity, and healing, not just survival. Okay. So here's some key lab examples. I wanted to share this because it was really fascinating to me. Conventional versus functional. Let me see what time it is because, I want to make sure I don't run over time today. So
I'll start doing this.
Fasting glucose. Here's a prime example. And this one, especially for midlife women, because these are the numbers that I tend to have cemented here. So conventional normals up to 99, if you have your fasting glucose drawn, and this is one that you'll get a lot of times in your conventional labs. They'll tell you that up to 99, you're okay.
Right.
Functional optimal is 70 to 85.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of people go on with their life thinking, oh, good. Well, my metabolic health's great. I'm 92. I'm in good shape. No, you being at 92 is showing an early sign of metabolic dysfunction. You want to know that so that you can correct it. Why do you want to wait until your fasting labs are showing 120 and they're going, oh, you need, metformin, you need to be put on insulin. That's what it's reactive medicine versus proactive medicine. So higher normal glucose still drives inflammation also and connective tissue stiffness. So again, that is why a lot of times with this type of pain, we look at metabolic health. Again, like I said, praise God, that was not my issue. Mine was beautiful. Fasting insulin. This is another one. Conventional ranges vary, but are very, very high before they're flagged. I'll give you an example. Bill had his done and his was 18 and his said normal. I about had a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
Normal's under 5 in our world. If you're even at 7 or 8, you're looking at it as an early warning sign that we need to get your metabolic health dialed in, because that is a sign of early insulin resistance. So, again, mine was right around 4, good to go there, knew that it was not a metabolic issue. Also, a lot of conventional medicine doctors do not draw fasting insulin. That is one of the most important markers of your metabolic health. Hemoglobin A1C is one that a lot of doctors do draw. Up to 5.6 is generally, 5.7 is considered normal in conventional medicine. We don't argue too much with that, but we like to see it like 4.8 to 5.3, 5.2, right in there. Because again, that hemoglobin A1C is showing a picture of what your blood sugars have been doing over the last 3 months. So it gives us kind of a report card on how you've been doing. Triglycerides. This is a big one. So many times doctors look at triglyceride, or doctors just look at cholesterol. They're not looking at triglycerides for cardiac health or for metabolic health. So triglycerides, conventional normal under 150. We love to see under 80. Under 100, I'm happy with, but under 80 is ideal. If somebody comes to me and they have an elevated cholesterol, but their triglycerides are 65, I'm high-fiving them. Depending on how high the cholesterol is, obviously. Cholesterol needs to be looked at as a bigger picture, not just chasing a single number, which is why statins are so overprescribed. So vitamin D is another one. This one is huge, y'all. This is the first one that really opened my eyes to this. So conventional normal is over 30. I'm telling you, if you're over 30, you are still severely deficient in vitamin D. We want you 60 to 80. So vitamin D is not just about your bones either. It regulates immune signaling. It regulates inflammation. It also affects, things like what I have going on here. And mine was low. Mine was functionally low. Mine wasn't conventionally low. A conventional medicine doctor would have looked at that and said, oh, good job. Your vitamin D is just fine. No, it's not. Mine was 44. And so I'm working on bringing that up as well. Homocysteine, rarely looked at in conventional medicine. Normal is up to about 15. We love it 5 to 8. Homocysteine is a marker that gives us an idea of how well your collagen is being synthesized in your body. It can be an indicator of your methylated B, or your B vitamins not being absorbed into your body. So it's something that needs to be addressed. It also elevated homocysteine levels also are an indicator of oxidative stress and repair demand. So mine was elevated. Mine was at like 13. Conventional medicine would have said it was just fine. And I'm working to bring that down. Now, omega-3 index. This is huge. This is one that a lot of people do not realize makes a huge difference. So conventional is often not even looked at. They look at your omegas sometimes. I never had a conventional medicine doctor look at my omegas. But omega-3s are essential for joint lubrication and for inflammation resolution. We oftentimes look at the omega-6 to 3 ratio in addition to all the others. The ratio in conventional medicine world says that I don't even remember what their normal is. Something like 18 to 1, 16 to 1 is fine. again, based on the standard American diet.
Yeah.
All the seed oils people are eating, all the garbage people are eating. In functional medicine world, we want it 4-to-1. So my omegas showed that I don't have an excess of omega-6s, but my omega-3s are nowhere near where they need to be. So I've got to fix that ratio. So I don't have to stop eating any omega-6s. I'm going to slow down on the peanut butter and sun butter a little bit because we tend to go a little crazy on that sometimes. But other than that, I am adding a good, strong fish oil. I'm adding sardines. I'm figuring out how to make it work, y'all. I've never wanted to eat sardines, but I'm going to do it. You know,
experimentation at its finest with sardines.
Yes. I'm adding, I already eat chia and flax regularly. I'm making sure I have that as an everyday thing. So I'm bringing up my omega-3s. Magnesium. Conventional medicine looks at serum magnesium. If your serum magnesium is low, you have got a severe dysfunction.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, in all my years of bedside nursing, the only times I ever saw somebody with a low serum magnesium, they were usually a significant alcoholic, you know, somebody who was homeless who, you know, didn't have a good diet and drank a lot, or they had severe metabolic disease, like in diabetic ketoacidosis and all these other things. The reason why it makes a difference, we look at red blood cell magnesium. Red blood cell magnesium is the actual, it's an intracellular electrolyte. So it's important to see what your actual level is in the red blood cells. If you wait until you have a deficiency in your serum levels, you are so significantly deficient. It is, I mean, dangerous.
Yes.
The estimate is that 85% of people run low magnesium in their red blood cells because of us not getting enough from our food these days, because of poor agriculture, because a lot of medications decrease our magnesium. So magnesium supplementation, the right kind of magnesium supplementation, threonate, glycinate, those types are so important to get it to the right levels. So serum levels can look normal while tissues are depleted. Cortisol, this is another one. Conventional normal tends to say 6 to 16. Functional context, we look at it as a big picture. It depends on symptoms. And we tend to want to see that number lower too. So anyway, all of this to say, there's a wide variety of what we are looking at. When my labs were drawn during this active flare, it told us a clear story. Nothing screamed disease, which is great, right? Because if I would have gone and just gotten conventional labs drawn, they would have said, oh, yep, you're fine. It's got to be your shoulder itself. Let's sign you up for surgery, right? That would have been the natural progression if that was what I had done. But everything together showed imbalance. My CRP was elevated, which was expected because of the pain and inflammation, active inflammation, low omega-3s, poor joint lubrication, low zinc, impaired tissue repair, functionally elevated homocysteine, oxidative stress, hormonal transition, inconsistent connective tissue signaling.
Yeah.
Boom. So now we know what it is because of the lab work, because then it made total sense.
Because that allows you to adjust what you're eating and how you're eating and the supplements that you take to fix the problem.
Exactly. And keep in mind too, a lot of people, they hear hormonal imbalance, and this is also a conventional medicine thought process. Oh, well, we need to do hormone replacement therapy and that'll fix it. That's not necessarily what you need to do either. You know, with me, I mean, as far as my changes with my hormonal, I mean, my SHBG was improving, which means my body's adapting to my hormonal changes. SHBG is sex hormone binding. I can't remember what the G is for. But anyway, it is when that is coming into a normal range, or normal for our age, my
Mhm.
body's adapting to my changes in the hormones.
Okay.
So I don't need to throw hormone therapy at my body because
Right.
my body's figuring it out.
Because we were talking about this before we went live about giving your body an opportunity to do what it's designed to do as far as a fever. Okay,
Exactly.
so you're explaining the SHBG the kind of the same way. You got to give your body the opportunity to adjust to the hormone changes, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And I'll be the first to tell you, I know people who have done certain hormone replacement therapies. They've had miraculous improvement in their symptoms. I get it. I'm not knocking that they can work. It's the long-term effects of when you are artificially adding hormones when
Yeah.
you're not allowing your body to do what it needs to do. I get it. Sometimes you just can't wait. I
Mhm.
understand. We have a life to live. I'm not loving that when I'm naturally fixing this, it's probably going to take a good, 8 weeks before I get full relief. But you know what?
Right.
It's 8 weeks I'm willing to do because it stops me from getting surgery. It
Yep.
stops me from doing anything unnecessary, and it fixes the problem so it doesn't come back.
Right. With no long-term effects.
Bingo. And so the other thing that my hormones showed, my leptin was low normal, which suggests insufficient repair signaling despite my good glucose and insulin. So that's why I had to go, okay, what are my repair markers? And
Right.
that's where I discovered the zinc, the low omega-3, all these things. So you're able to see this beautiful big picture that makes so much more sense of the underlying what's going on in your body and allows you to react proactively, even though I'm reacting to what is happening, but I'm proactively fixing this rather than throwing a knife at my shoulder, So when your body does not feel resourced, your tissues are going to guard. And so that's what I had to figure out what resources it was lacking in. So why functional labs changed the outcome, just to kind of summarize this. If I'd followed a conventional only path, the next steps would have been imaging, injections, and surgery.
Agree.
100%. I can't imagine how many people who have gotten, because it will show inflammation. It'll show like scar tissue in there. I know plenty of people who have gone in for surgery to clean out scar tissue. This is why they probably had scar tissue in many cases if there was no known injury.
Yep.
If you're somebody who's been working out for years and, had a torn rotator cuff or had this physical job and you had a tear.
Yeah.
It makes sense that you have, some scar tissue buildup. This was not the case for me. So I knew that wasn't the case. So instead, what the lab showed me, I now know what I need to replete, what I need to calm down in the way of, my inflammation. I'm doing red light therapy. I'm doing heat. I'm doing moist heat. I'm doing topical magnesium. I'm doing things that will calm the inflammation at the site. I also know what to support, what not to chase unnecessarily. If I didn't see this picture and I know, because I hear it all the time, oh, metabolic health causes this, it didn't cause mine.
No.
So I would be chasing some metabolic number that was unnecessary, but I see that mine's in beautiful shape. So corrective work is focusing on the omega-3 repletion, zinc correction, vitamin D optimization. That's another one I didn't mention. So porting, repair signaling, gentle movement, and allowing the inflammation to resolve naturally. This is a very different path. Yes. And I don't have to spend who knows what on, medical bills. And I mean, it's
recovery time. And,
right. And this lab panel for 2 panels a year costs $364.
Yeah, that's
or $365 or whatever it is.
That's extremely affordable. I'm gonna have to jump on that train.
Totally makes all the difference in the world. And just to add to that, when I first got them done, remember it was October of 2024, and you and I talked about it on here because I was blown away with what it showed about my thyroid. My thyroid numbers this time came back still. The whole big picture looks fine, but the TPO is improving. Why? Because I am doing thyroid protective foods.
Yes.
That I haven't even added any supplements for it because I've had the right foods I put in my body every day. Brazil nuts, a little bit of good quality chocolate, the when needed, the Dr. Cowan's sea vegetables.
Yeah.
You know, I've been adding the black seed oil to my tea every night. My numbers have dropped dramatically, like 30%. So I anticipate that's going to continue. Would have never known that without these labs until all of a sudden they would have said, oh, your thyroid's broken. And
Right.
I've had the signals for 12 years now. So why I encourage functional labs, this is why, I mean, it is just, if you're dealing with chronic pain, joint stiffness, fatigue, hormonal shifts, normal labs, but you're having ongoing symptoms, functional labs don't label you, they explain you. You know, it's like so many people are looking for a label of like, oh, I'm a diabetic, or I have, you know, I'm this, I'm that. You don't need that to be your defining thing. Let it explain what's going on so you can fix it before it becomes something that's bigger.
That's right.
And in many cases, they can prevent years of pain or unnecessary procedures. So back on the adhesive capsulitis, because I want all my ladies my age to hear this. If you're having chronic hip pain, stiffness, shoulder pain, stiffness, I really want you to understand that this is not a problem with the hip or the shoulder. It is not just frozen shoulder. That's what they call it, but that's not all it is. It is a body that is inflamed, under-resourced, hormonally transitioning. Doesn't mean it's a hormonal problem. And you're not getting a clear signal. Pain is communication. Okay. So when we listen early, before dysfunction becomes disease, healing becomes far more attainable. Nothing in my lab screamed pathology, but together they whispered imbalance. And so my shoulder is just simply where it showed up. And praise God, I have now got myself on the path to getting this straight. So if you guys are interested in functional labs, this is going to be my little, there's multiple ways to get them. Functionhealth.com. They're amazing. If you use my link, which I will post with all this, if you are a community member in the Freedom Holistic Wellness community, you get a free session with me to go through your lab work. If you are not a community member, I'm offering 50% off at your meeting with me. Just reach out to me, because if you do it on the website, it's going to charge you full amount. But if you're not a community member, 50% discount if you use my link to do the Function Health Labs for us to go over them. I'm telling you, it'll change your life. It'll change your life. It's uncovered so much in mine and my husband's health that we've been able to get a handle on. So what you got going on this week, girl?
Oh, girl, a little bit of everything. I'm gonna be visiting my grandprince JJ a lot.
Yes, I know you will.
They're not, you know, she's not leaving the house with him because it's such a chore to do until he has a doctor's appointment next week. So we're gonna try to visit him as much as possible, keep his spirits up, and I still have things. Oh, I didn't share this when we started, but I made a wild cherry bark cough syrup last week, and I thought I was making just a little, but we go big or go home, right? So I ended up making like 6 bottles of this, because to make it shelf stable, it was just as much raw honey to the decoction mixture. So yeah, I ended up making 6 bottles of wild cherry bark cough syrup. So everybody in my family has a bottle of wild cherry bark cough syrup now.
Nice.
Who knows what other kinds of things I will have to make this upcoming week to support all of the ickness going around.
Yes.
to get it going. So
yes.
I know myself, I will be on the hunt for garlic today to replenish my garlic honey, because and I will be doing some sleep supplements the next couple of nights to reboost myself and make sure I get enough sleep, because this is what happens when I don't.
Yes. I have a wonderful sleep protocol, y'all. And Wendy's pulling out all the stops with
Yes, I am. How about you? What you got going on the next week?
just continuing on with the Sugar Busters, trying to get people into this community because they don't know what they're missing. I did not cut off my 7-day free trial. I had quite a few people come in and say, wow, we love this. And I said, you know what? I'm going to keep that going. So
Nice.
7-day free trial, y'all. If you are interested in seeing what all the hubbub's about,
Run, don't walk.
yeah, you definitely want to get in there and see what all we're doing in there. And especially my brothers and sisters in Christ that have been in there have been absolutely blown away with the way that we have been tying in God's word into healing, and they've really appreciated that Christ-centered approach. So I hope you all will come in there and join us and allow me to support you in your healing journey.
That's right. And next week,
yes, unless we hear otherwise, we're praying we don't. We will have James from Pluck Seasonings. He will be our special guest next Wednesday at 9 a.m. And we are very much looking forward to having him join us.
Yes, we are.
All right. Until then, y'all stay warm. Hopefully you don't get snowed in again unless you really want to be. But
everybody stay warm and stay healthy.
Yes. We love you guys, and we will see you next Wednesday. Be well.